Thank you for holding on as TMI, and we're hitting the ground running with the first conversation on today's episode of TMI, where we're going to be looking at economic hardship, federal government's intervention, and diaspora engagement. And discussing this with me in the studio here, I have the immediate past chairman of ASU Uniben chapter, and he is the HOD of chemistry department.
I've handed over.
A chemist? Oh, you've handed over?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. So he is a chemist, and Professor Julius Iyasele, thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me this morning. Good morning, viewers.
All right, so also joining me via Zoom from the United States of America is specifically in New York, is one who has a BS in environmental science, AS in biology, professional toxicologist, bioterrorism preparedness expert, CEO Daddy Rich Production Incorporated, Richard Iyasele. Good morning, Richard.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Oh, well, thank you. Good to know that you're with us. And how is New York today?
It's about 2:30 a.m. in the morning over here.
Okay. Good to know you there. And basically, we're also going to be joined via Zoom from Ekpoma here in Edo State, an economist, Dr. Jude Obasomi. Good morning, Dr. Jude.
Philip, and good morning, my chairman of ASU from years ago, and good morning, listeners and viewers.
In order to look at the brighter side of the economy, in order to see if there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Well, let me start with you first in the studio with us, Professor Julius. We look at the great prospects that is being peddled by the federal government. We look at the statement credited to, the minister, coordinating minister of the economy, where he said that there has been an increase in the economic growth by 3% at the end of the first quarter. And somehow we are looking at it ironically with what is presently facing us just now, even as we have the NBS report that says that about 34% we are hitting already in inflation rate, as compared to the one we had last month, which has about an increase of 0.29. What do you make of this? And what do you make of the seriousness of the government in tackling economic hardship headlong?
Yes, Philip and my co-discussants this morning, I feel that it's not going to be easy to sit down to answer these questions, to discuss this matter today, because it is a very tumultuous topic. It is puzzling that a government officer will come out to say that there's an increase in economic growth in this country, that this government have deepened poverty, that this government have deepened hunger, that this government have deepened starvation and squalor, is in commonplace, is in the market, is on the road, is in schools, is anywhere where you find Nigerians. And so how can somebody now in this time and age of this country come out to say that there's an increase in economic growth? I think it's suicidal for me to agree with that and all that. And so I can't believe that, because what is on paper is different from what is on the street. And somebody else has come to say that the inflationary rate or increase is about 30-something%. And that is what we can agree. What was it when they took over? What was the naira rate to dollar when they took over? What was the price of ordinary basin of Gary when they took over? And then vis-a-vis even the fuel and all that. Has there been any increase anywhere? This is corn season. Do you find corn on the street? Do you find food on the street and all that? Why would somebody? It's annoying for somebody to come up with that. I think there will be no need to anger us any further, because it's painful.
Let's look at it from the economic perspective. Dr. Jude Obasomi, let's analyze what we have in the inflation rate for June ending by NBS, where it said about 34% increase in inflation. And let's juxtapose it with the statement credited to the coordinating minister Wale Edun on the increase in economic growth. How do you establish that economically?
All right. Thank you very much. And once again, good morning. You see, in talking about measurement, you work with statistics. And the average man in the street will want to say that actually things have gone very, very high and that they are finding very difficult for them to purchase common household items. For example, now someone that go to the market before now, let's say by the first quarter of 2023 to buy a model of Gary for about, let's say 600 naira. And now a model of Gary might be going for about 1,008 or 2,004. So that person will just ordinarily just say that the cost of things have gone up times 4 using the local understanding. So you can see that actually things are quite, and that's why most persons may not want to believe what the growth statistic is saying in terms of the growth of the economy. But let's look at it this way. There are certain parameters that we use in assessing growth and development, so to say. And it's a function of the income coming into a particular economy that will determine the growth. However, the challenge that some of us have is that only a few are making this production. Only a few are contributing, so to say, to the growth of the GDP, whereas the larger amount of the persons are not actually contributing. For example, in Nigeria, you can count the number of companies in existence. Most of the companies are folding up, most of the companies are leaving Nigeria. Only a few are the ones contributing. So when you want to talk about the growth, you use that little number to classify and to state that yes, the economy is actually growing. But ordinarily, when you decide to break it down or disagree, to realize that yes, only a few organizations, companies are contributing. But particularly when it comes to the issue of remittances, only a few people are doing it. So ordinarily, companies are folding up. So it's not sufficient for us to actually say that yes, the economy might be growing in figures, but in terms of the quality of life, in terms of how people are living, in terms of how people now value the Nigerian currency, in terms of what the Naira can buy, the value is actually depreciated. So another man will ask, how can we therefore say that the economy is growing? To them, it's not growing. But however, you work on statistics and work on the revenue community. But in terms of the number of people that are benefiting, the number is very, very reduced and people are no longer comfortable. So it's a matter of statistics, and I want to believe that let's try to see how we can transfer these statistics into the quality of life of individuals and the quality of life of Nigerians. So that is it.
Have your say, Richard Iyasere from New York, and a whole lot has been said concerning the prospects by the present government of President Bola Tinubu. And it's been over a year, and measures have been made as regards how he's been, hitting the ground running. What is your perspective of the administration under President Bola Tinubu in ameliorating the plights of Nigerians? Well, I think we're having issues of we yet to establish network, and as soon as we establish that, well, okay, let's get back to Richard Iyasere.
Can you hear me now? Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes. Did you get my question?
Okay. Yes. So I'm going to join my colleagues in this aspect that until the regular people on the street start feeling any difference, all these numbers, these statistics that is being put out there, it's not real. It's definitely not real. So Nigeria, the inflation in Nigeria today is surging. It's surging every day, and for anybody to come out and be giving all these numbers and that is growing, it's mind-boggling. The economic situation in Nigeria today is probably at 12. For my adult life, this is the first time I have actually seen it like this. People are struggling, and there's a hunger, a huge widespread of hunger in Nigeria. So all these numbers that are coming out are not real.
Okay, there's been some big difference by the president when he established the new Ministry of Livestock Development. Still with you on this, Richard Iyasere. What's your perspective and reaction about the new ministry created by the president in order to ameliorate the plight of Nigerians as regards food insecurity. And he also said that this would help to, tackle the perennial clashes between pastoralists and farmers. What's your take on this development?
I look at it's a plausible thing. But my concern first of all is how would the regular the talakais benefit from this if it is implemented properly? Okay. And I'm also trying to figure out what is the difference between these the livestock and Department of Agriculture. They can come up with all these different kind of ministries just to show that they're doing something until the real issue is being addressed. We're not going anywhere. I remember because the government should be serious. The government should be serious about security in Nigeria. I remember when I was growing up in the village, in my hometown, Uronigbe, the main source of to cure food storage was agriculture. It was the main source, farming. But today, a lot of people cannot even go to their farm because of the so-called cattle rearing, and they're scared to go to the farm. If the ordinary man cannot get his own food, that is a problem. I don't care what number you're going to give to me. I don't care how many ministry of livestock you're going to create. It's got to trickle down. The people on the street have to have enough to eat. There's a food shortage in Nigeria as we speak. This livestock, I just think it's another way of creating a different avenue for some people to benefit themselves, and if it is carried out properly, it will be good. But I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
Sarah, well, let's get your perspective, Professor Julius. We have a lot in terms of the reactions as regards the new ministry being formed. Do you concur with the statement credited to the president?
I'm very bottled up this morning, I'm telling you. Because what do you mean by another ministry? This is a government of somersault. A government of policies of tons and tons and tons and all that. Is it not the same government that are collapsing MDAs into one so that we reduce the number of ministries that we have? I thought we had that not too long. And then you now have a government that trying to create another ministry of livestock and that nenemi. Don't you have ministry of agric? And then that this could be handled by that ministry, and a division of ministry of agric will handle that. Why creating another ministry? I believe this government of happenstance.
Okay, but don't you think don't you think you should be an optimist in this matter?
What optimism?
Because we look at what the president said.
Optimism
he said that this ministry will be chaired by his person. What is the chairman of the committee that's going to run the affairs?
Let it create a unit from Ministry of Agric and chair it, and let it be so and all that, so that we have less costs in governance. Is that not the problem that we're having in the country and all that? Why creating another, so that another minister? Of course, what I think in the immediate is a political patronage.
Okay, but there's been Ministry of Agriculture, and we've been having challenges where farmers and herders, have been having clashes.
Why not?
Don't you see this as
no,
an
it's not by creating another ministry.
That will also help to push.
It's not by creating another ministry.
Measures that will bring about the challenges that they are faced with to close the gap.
It's not by having another ministry. Why not instead give a matching order and give job description to what Ministry of Agri will do to bring about peace so that people can return back to their farms? Is it by creating another ministry? What I'm saying, the problem we have in Nigeria, part of it is cost of governance. Ministers left, right, and center with a retinue of aides. And at the end of the day, you have leakages from government. You have our common patrimony being squandered by a few, and yet more are hungry on the streets. That is what we are saying. It is not, I'm saying it more of political patronage. That is just all. It's not because people are hungry and then another ministry is being created. Maybe somebody else have been spotted somewhere who have aided in politics and all that, and then you need just to pay the person back. That is what I'm saying here. Otherwise, what does it cost to create a unit under Ministry of Agric and then give a matching order, give job description? This is what we want you to do and all that. Can I tell you, many persons who work in most of the federal ministries don't go to work and all that. They are home and yet earning salaries. Have we not heard all of that? So what is the meaning of all this one we are seeing in this country?
Okay, let's get your perspective, Dr. Jude. Do you see this as a bogus inclusion that was made by the president as regards the development of the new ministry?
All right, thank you very much. I want to perfectly align with Professor Yasele on the rationale behind the creation of this ministry. It's not necessary. For me, it's not required. For me, it's just trying to keep Nigerians busy again for the next few weeks or for the next few months or the next few years. We have a Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security. If you feel that that ministry is not performing that way, why don't you just say, okay, fine, let's go for a retreat and see how best we can activate that ministry to do the needful. Like somebody said, though I cannot quote the source now, is that most of the time the kind of policies we make in Nigeria are tied towards one or two other benefits. For example, there's this rumor that is trending now that the country is about to assess a particular agricultural loan, and the condition given for that loan to grant to Nigeria is for them to create a different ministry other than the Ministry of Agri and Food Security. I begin to wonder, why must we continue to toy with our economy? We don't even have a local policy to say, fine, Nigeria, this is where we want to be in 2025, in 2030, or by the year 2050. A new government will come and come with their own different agenda, all to, patronize certain individual or to satisfy a very minute interest of Nigerians. I begin to wonder the volumes of money spent on the wrong side report, whereby it took several governments for them to actually demand for a white paper. And when it came on board, we realized that most ministries were made because the reason given to us then was that, fine, we have spent a lot of money on the ministers, on their aides, on other things, and they felt that, fine, based on what is going in the country, let's see how best we can merge. Not up to a year or two, the same government is now talking about expanding. Where are we expanding to? People are suffering, and yet you are talking about creating another ministry. We need to come and do what? You see, it's very sad and painful that our leaders, with due respect to them, they don't actually feel the pulse of Nigerians. Talk about the minimum wage that workers are demanding for. Up till today, we have not been able to address it. Up till today, we have not said, okay, fine, this is what they are going to pay Nigerian workers so that they can live, so that they can breathe. But rather, we are talking about, let's not mention it, but permit me, change of the national anthem that took them less than 72 hours. Whereas the welfare of the people is not being considered at all. So I strongly believe that this move of government is suspicious because with the way things are in the country now, people have lost confidence in the way the government operates, in the way government do their thing in Nigeria. When the government comes with the policy, just because of their past experiences which did not favor us, people are now scared. What is the essence of that ministry? What is it that there's a gap in the current Ministry of Agric and what's it called, and Food Security? They now feel that it is only by creating another ministry that we can survive. To me, that is very, very wrong. And it's another waste of resources. So if there's a way we can call on the president, it's never too late. Let them discard that and rather look at the organogram of the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security and see where that particular mandate of this current ministry can fit in. You go to Abuja today. Before now, we had Ministry of Works, Housing and Power separated. Later, they now merged them. If you want to deliver a letter to the Ministry of, let's say, Works now, go there now, they'll tell you, so you have to move to this location, to that location. Things are scattered. Yeah, are we going to? People are suffering, and nobody's talking about how best
Okay.
to take care of them, but
Okay.
rather we're only
Dr. Jude,
incurring more
if I
cost. For me, it is
remember
very, very
vividly,
wrong,
the last time,
and
Dr. Jude,
government should not
please.
make that for help. People will begin
Okay.
to lose confidence in them. People are suffering. That is what government is thinking of.
Dr.
How
Jude,
to come with policies that will benefit Nigerians on the streets.
if I remember vividly, Dr. Jude, we had this conversation and you spoke about the challenges of the perennial challenges facing pastoralists and farmers. And that you said that farmers find it difficult to access their farms because of insecurity. Now, this is coming on the initiative of the president. And you are saying that, well, it has to do probably with the accessing of a new loan as conditions been given by the body giving the loan that there should be a new ministry. Now, is there anything wrong if the government access a loan that would be used in order to recapitalize or bid on infrastructures in order to tackle the perennial clashes that have been facing those farmers and herders? Because if you look at it, you said earlier that farmers find it difficult to access their farms. And that will go a whole long way to bring about food insecurity. Now, this ministry is coming in order to bridge a gap and close it. What's your take on this?
All right, thank very much, Philip. I know you as a staff of ITV and now the public relations officer of the federal government or the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security. Before now, we have been collecting series of loans. In some record, that there was a time we collected $400 million or so from China to boost the railway sector. There was a time also collected some facility to boost the power sector. There was a time also the country also collected some facilities now, to boost other sectors. But the question is, this loan that we have been collecting, have we been able to effectively use these loans? It's on record that we even collected the Sukuk loan facility that was granted on to Nigeria to fix our roads. The only thing you can see on our roads now are just the signposts of Sukuk. The roads are not being fixed. So we are tired of all these loans that is being collected. However, let us note this. There's nothing wrong in collecting loans or grants or finance from that country. When you collect such loans and you use it effectively, people will be happy. You can easily pay back. But in the case of Nigeria, the slightest thing, we are collecting loans, and the slightest thing, we collect this loan, and people do not see where these loans are used for. If, for example, now Nigeria collected a lot of, collected the loan they took the other time from Japan to fill a railway line, and today I can leave Benin to say I'm going to Abuja on train. People will not complain, but in this case, monies are collected, loans are collected in dollars and in pounds, yet there is no marginal improvement in the economy. So let's don't believe that. It is very, very suspicious. And for me, it is hard time Nigeria stops collecting loans because I do not see what we are using these loans for. Rather, we are gradually dipping and selling to greater depths that I don't put it in next generation. They might have to battle very hard to see how many can pay this loan. For me, it's not proper at all. Again, too, when these loans come in, the average farmer who is scared to go to his farm, how will the farmer even access such funds? So first of all, Nigeria to reject the amount of money they have been spent on security. It is high time we do a proper audit on the funds meant for defense, on the funds meant for security agents. Not all the time you don't create this fund and the funds are sent to them every time, and every time we hear that we have today they technically defeat Boko Haram. Tomorrow we are migrating. Next tomorrow we have captured. Nigerians are tired of that. Let our land be safe. But one of the principal roles of government is to secure the lives of the people. And when that is not being done, I tell you, people will lose confidence. People are tired. People are getting frustrated by the minute. People provide their life, provide their water, provide virtually everything. Yes, government comes to impose bodies, to impose tax on them. For me, that loan is not proper at all. Government think about better to rejig other sectors of the economy. For example, now look at the refineries. They are not working. Yet, you have people in that refinery that for the past 5, 6, 7, or 8 years are collecting salaries. Yet, nobody is talking. So how can they be collecting salary without working? So you have so many internal things within the country that we need to address. And not until government sits up and they say, fine, I need to take my bold, I need to make a bold move to reclaim my economy back. There's no, or else we're going to live in a country whereby only a few who want to benefit from the rest of us will be making policies that will suit them. That's why some of us that we have a major query about this so-called tax relief in terms of opening up the border for goods to come in. very funny interest. What can you achieve in 150 days? What
Thank you,
are you
Dr.
putting
Jude.
in place that when you cut off that, things will go on well?
Thank
So
you,
for
Dr.
me,
Jude.
I firmly believe that that issue of that, of the loans we are collecting
Thank
is
you for your
suspicious,
articulation,
and
Dr.
Nigeria
Jude.
to stop collecting
Thank you,
loans.
Dr. Jude.
Let's go inwards and see how
All
we
right,
can
let's
survive.
let's
Or
let's
help.
go to Richard Iyasere. Let's get to see the impact of citizens in diaspora in closing the gap. You agree with me, Dr. Iyasere? A lot has been said in the direction of brain drains. You know, we have the best brains migrating from this country to other developed countries. And what do you see as the impact of the citizens in diaspora in closing the gap, ameliorating the plight of Nigerians? Because you are a toxicologist, you've earned various accolades in different professions, and you also are the CEO of Daddy Rich Productions in New York, based in New York. I don't think you have any base in Nigeria. So, what do you see as the impact of the citizens in diaspora in impacting positively on the economy of Nigeria?
Let me quickly, first of all, correct something. I do have a base in Nigeria.
Oh,
And uh, as a matter of fact, I have in Benin City, I have, every year we come to Benin to do Edo Music Festival.
okay.
So I don't know if you have been following that.
Yeah.
And to go straight to the question, probably the only thing holding the Nigerian economy right now is the remittance of the diasporas. So diaspora is contributing hugely. I think the last time I saw some numbers was about $25 billion is being remitted by Nigerian diaspora. And that is just transfer, wiring money that are traceable. But there are a lot of other ways that diaspora contribute to Nigerian economy that you cannot pinpoint your fingers so if you, at the end of the day, when you want to calculate everything and you really want to run it up, we're looking at close to about 40 billions that comes to Nigeria from the diaspora. Um, I really don't look at it this way about a brain drain. I think it's about hard time Nigeria start looking at this aspect seriously with this the current situation in Nigeria, but this a very, very watery bad economy that is in Nigeria right now. We should be strategizing on how to take advantage of the diaspora. Um, the they should be thinking about how to turn the brain drain into the brain gain. So I think the Indians have done this very well. I don't fear brain drain anymore with the new technology that is available out there. You can be in Nigeria and your personal doctor can be in New York and you can do telehealth. So I think Nigeria should even concentrate and strategize more. For example, I read somewhere that an opening vacancy was published in Nigeria, and almost for like one of the engineering position, and almost like close to 1,000 people apply for that one position, and all these applicants were all qualified, and they all have the appropriate, and they all have the qualification to do this job. For only one position, about 1,000 people applied, and they all are qualified. So what am I getting at? What we do have is human resources. That's what we have abundant of. Nigeria should be focusing. Do we import this human resources? Do we create an agency instead of creating a brand new livestock agency? Why not create an agency that will be concentrating on how to import Nigerians abroad, send them abroad to go and bring more money? The only way Nigeria is succeeding right now, like I can even limit it to Benin. There's no household in Edo State where you don't have somebody in abroad. And that is the only source of income for each family.
Okay. Thank you so
So
much.
the diaspora right now, as we speak, if we want to go on and on, is probably the only way right now for them to focus and strategize on how to take advantage of it.
Thank you. As we get to a close on this, let's get your reactions over the impact of the diaspora and the challenges you think could be faced with in impacting the plights of Nigerians.
Excuse me. I think there are reasons for migration. For those who have read history, I'm in chemistry. When atoms move in the reaction flask, there's a reason why they are moving and all that. So why don't sort out the reasons why people are engaging in second slavery and all that? Can we look at the clients? Is UK better than Nigeria in terms of maybe arable land
Or resources.
or
Land resources
is
and
it,
human resources.
Yeah, human resources, or is it weather? Those climes, are they better than what we have in this country? Do
But they have an
more-
institution that works.
No, that's what I'm telling you. That's where I'm coming to.
A workable system.
That's where we're coming to. That the problem we have is governance. Our government, they are not telling us the truth. Insincerity. You come to create another ministry and all that. When the basic problem is because you don't have the political will to implement what people have discussed and rested. That is creating ranches to keep cows. Can I ask you a question?
Exactly what the Ministry of Livestock Development is working on.
Why not? Don't solve a problem by creating more problems. That is what we are talking about. I'm not going to create. So the issue here is, why not, for instance, create ranches and all that? You heard Dangote. Dangote said that they wanted to frustrate his refinery, that some persons were used to counting free money, and suddenly that was going to stop by he producing now petroleum or petrol and thereabout. And so now that people they did everything they could to frustrate him and all that. You heard him say that clearly. And don't we have government in place to look at all of this?
So what's your advice in 30 seconds on what the federal government should be focused at?
They should focus on, first of all, what is the locus of governance in this country? Where is it? Is it in Abuja or is it in the international community? Where is the locus? They should develop confidence, face this country and deliver policies that will bring us out of the doldrums, because we are in the woods.
Thank you. Well, let's quickly have your closing remarks on this, Dr. Jude Obasomi, on how to close the gap, looking at the diaspora impact and, of course, the interventions of the federal government in ameliorating the plights of Nigerians. Okay, thank you. I think that's much we can take from Dr. Jude. Well, let's get to you, Dr. Richard Iyasere. Your closing remarks on this, on the way forward for Nigeria in impacting positively, looking at the government impact on the ameliorating plight of Nigerians.
I think the Nigerian government should wake up. They should wake up. They should be serious about governing. They should be serious about making policies that work, policies that will trickle down to the regular masses. They should take the issue of security very, very serious. I think a whole bunch of this problem is emanating from there. Most investors don't want to come to Nigeria. The ones that are there are moving out. They should take security very, very seriously, and they should stop all these way of No, like this new livestock ministry, nobody even know what their budget is, how much they are pumping in the money that should be directed into a different area that can affect the masses. They should be serious about governance.
All right.
It's really mind-boggling right now.
Thank you very much, Dr. Richard Iyasere, and we hope you oblige us in subsequent interviews. And that's the much we can take on this segment.